everyone, and welcome to this beautiful hip mobility flow. I have to tell you, I've just finished recording the practice and my hips feel amazing. This will be a whole experience, a whole sequence of poses where we'll be working on mobility, strength, stretches, and well, I cannot wait to share it with you. You will need a pair of socks and might be a set of blocks, so have it ready and let us begin. Let's start this practice on the hands and knees. So walk your hands a little farther forward than the tabletop, and we'll start first with the small circles. Rolling the hips from side to side, a little bit forward and down, bringing all this movement into the hips. Then maybe make a circle a little bit bigger, lowering the hips lower towards the floor. The opposite way. Focus on your breathing and begin to bring all of your attention into your body, onto your mat. Become aware of what's happening in your body. Now bring the hands a little closer towards the knees, coming into the tabletop. Extend your left leg back, square the hips, pull the stomach in, lift the chest up. Take a deep inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, knee towards the forehead. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale, 3 more times. Exhale, pull it in round the back. Inhale. Exhale, push the floor away. And extend 1 more time. Extend your left leg back. Both arms straight, open through the hips and circle through the left knee. High through the side, towards the left elbow, down and back. So drawing a full and complete circle. Make sure both of your shoulders are facing forward. Both of your arms remain straight. Let's try the opposite way. Bring the left knee forward towards the left elbow, shoulder up and back. If you practice with me often, you know that I love this movement. I do it myself in my personal practice every time, because hips feel tight and they're really asking for all this movement. Circles. One last time. Beautiful. Square the hips. Bring the left knee down. You might notice the warmth through the glutes. Let's try it on the other side. Extend your right leg back. Pull the chest up. Right leg active. Deep inhale as you lengthen. Exhale, knee towards the forehead. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale. 3 more times. And extend. Open through the hips, arms straight, shoulders forward. Bend the right knee, lift high through the side towards the right elbow, down and back out. Notice the moment when here the hips are squared and here they are open. So right hip comes on top of the left hip. The opposite way, right knee reaches forward towards right elbow, high up through the side, back, and to square position. Beautiful, one last circle. Good, and bring it down. Wiggle the hips from side to side, relax your glutes. And then walk your hands farther forward, tuck the toes, come up into your first downward facing dog. walk the feet out here. Bring in a little extra stretch through your calves, your hamstrings. Trying to become a little bit more comfortable in this pose. And then as we hold the downward facing dog, you may choose to keep your knees softly bent, focusing on the length that you're creating through the spine. If available, straighten the legs. A few deep breaths here. From here, walk your hands towards your feet and bring your feet a little bit wider apart. I will keep my feet parallel. From here, start lowering the hips down as low as you can. Might be you will have to stop here. Might be you can go lower so that your heels remain on the floor, and then softly reach up to standing. Let's try a few more times. So might be it's until here and back up to standing. Might be all the way down and to standing. 8 more times. Slowly lift up. A little activation through the glutes, a little squeeze through the inner thighs. Might be until here, but heels remain on the floor. Already here it feels good for my hips. Feels like more than enough, but if it's available, lower down. Last 3. 1. 2, squeeze the glutes. And 3, squeeze the glutes. Beautiful, lower down into Malasana. So turn the toes a little bit out. You can bring the hands onto the knees, onto the inner thighs, or towards the floor, and just wiggling it out. Shifting the weight from one side to the other, rolling on the outer edge of the foot, pressing the knee away from you. So we're trying to open the knees as high apart as possible. If it's hard for you to bring the ankles to the floor, again, might be you need to lift the hips higher and just move in here. This will require a little more strength, a little more energy, but it's a beautiful stretch for the inner thighs. Works well for the hips. Good, or you can place a little padding under your heels. Just a few more breaths here. Beautiful. Find your Malasana. You can also rest the block under your hips to make it easier. Reach your right arm down to the side. On the inside of the right knee, push the knees away and lift through the chest up, through the left arm up. Back to the center. Extend your left arm to the side. Inhale, open through the chest as wide as possible. And bring it down. Very good. Walk your hands forward. Come back up into the downward facing dog. I always love walking my feet here. Bring the knees down. Coming back into the tabletop, and we'll awaken the energy through the glutes a little bit. Building the strength, so you can go just for the regular fire hydrant lifts. When you lift the knee as high up to the side as possible, arms straight, shoulders facing forward. We can already start, join me. Or bring the knee up, straighten the leg, bend down. So wherever you are, 8 more. 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, or last 3. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Let's change the sides. Again, either just lifting the right knee as high up as possible. Make sure you're gazing forward. You hold your arms straight. Or might be lift, straighten, bend. 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bring it down. I love this feeling through the glutes when they start screaming, especially without much warm-up. Walk the hands back forward, come up, downward facing dog. Inhale, walk the feet forward to the front of the mat. Exhale, fold forward, if necessary, bend the knees. Now, hands to the floor or onto the blocks if necessary. Squat down, your heels can lift up. And from here, slowly lift up. Hold the knees slightly bent if necessary. And press yourself into a standing forward fold. Let's do it a few more times. 1, 2, 3, exhale as you fold forward. 4, 5, 6, one last time. 7, fold. Inhale, lift up to standing. And exhale, hands to the floor or hands to the heart. Good. Someone needs to wake up. It's early in the morning. Everything feels tight, but all these movements feel good. Feet just hip distance apart. Circle out through the hips. Circle the opposite way. Now we'll take the feet a little wider apart, toes turned out. And we'll come into the slight squat, similar to a goddess pose, but might be not so intense, not so deep. And now it's a funny looking movement, which feels amazing. So knees bent, knees turned out. And now again, start circling through the hips. That's it. It feels amazing for the tight hips. Good, let's try it a few more times. You can keep going, do it a few more times. Because I'm practicing on the floor, I'll roll my mat like this. And I'll put on the socks. So if you're practicing on the flooring surface like this, I'd recommend to put the socks on. If you're practicing on the carpet, I think it's much nicer. I normally practice on the carpet in a different room, but I would also recommend to put the socks on. So it's your choice. Give it a try if you're doing this for the first time, and then you'll notice what feels best to you. So we're coming in just this seated Dandasana position. We will try to hold the back as straight as possible. I'll move in here. And then from here, we'll bring one leg, sliding it into this half butterfly position. Straighten it out. The other leg to the side and straighten it out. And we'll do it for about 1 minute. So your hands can be behind the back, sliding. I have these tiles, so it's not very comfortable for the feet, but it works. Again, all of these movements, they're amazing for the hips. Active mobility, active flexibility. When your hips are tight, it's not enough just to come into the butterfly pose or lizard lunge and just hold it there and suffer. You know, no. It feels good to move it out. And then as you build all this warmth in the hips, you come into those lizard lunges or something similar, and it feels like more relaxing, more comfortable. Just about 15 more seconds here. Sliding one leg at a time into butterfly position. By now you might notice that it feels a little bit easier. Good. Last time on each side. Perfect. Now we'll be sliding one leg at a time into the Vajrasana. So before, when you were doing butterfly, it was external hip rotation. So you were opening the hips, right? This one, internal hip rotation, so you're closing the hips. Our hips need both. Right? You don't want only to open them, you also want to internally rotate them. So try to sit both of the hips on the floor. Good, extend forward. And on the other side, both hips on the floor. Very good, and extend it out. So again, we'll do this for about 1 minute. You can start doing it very slowly. It depends on your anatomical structure of the hips. Either external or internal rotation will be easier for you. Beautiful. A few more times. Again, hands can be somewhere behind you or on the hips. If you do this for the first time, it might feel uncomfortable. You're just not used to these movements. That's fine. As you continue, as you build this mobility through the hips, it feels actually very nice. And extend it out. Beautiful. Let me roll my mat back in place. You can take off your socks. We won't need them anymore. These colorful, happy socks. There we go, out of the frame. Lower down onto your back. And hug the knees into the chest. Pull the inner thighs together. Pull the knees closer towards you. Good. Extend left leg down. Pull the right knee towards you. Change sides. Extend the right leg down. Pull the left knee towards you. Bring both knees. Hands onto the kneecaps. Now pull the knees into the chest. Now with the help of your hands, open the knees as wide apart as possible. Pull the knees away from you and together. And bring them back into the chest. So completing this full circle. Helping yourself with the hands. When you do these movements and you hear a little cracking, that happens often. And if it's not painful, they say it's fine from a medical standpoint. One hip might be cracking more on one side. A few more times. One last circle. Lift yourself up onto the seated and onto your forearms. So now, left leg will stay straight on the floor, toes pointed. Option number one, bend the right knee, bring it into the chest, open it out, and circle straight forward. So with the knee bent, this is a little easier. Knee into the chest, through the side and forward, like this. If you want to make it a little harder, straight leg up, straight leg through the side and together. So your right leg doesn't touch the floor. All right. Let's go 5 more here. 1, left hip doesn't lift off the floor. 2, 3, 4, 5. The opposite way. This is harder. This requires a little more strength through the hips. Good. 5 more. 1. You can keep the knee bent. 2. So you can do 3 and straighten. 4, 5. Let's change the sides. Right leg on the floor. Toes pointed, right leg straight. Either bending the knee into the chest, opening and straightening. Or left leg straight, circle. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The opposite way. Towards you. So through the side and towards you. If necessary, with the knee bent. 1. Last 5. 2, 3. Chest up. 4. And 5. Very good. Shake your legs off. Notice how you feel. We'll come into the 90-90 seated position. So right shin is parallel with the short edge of the mat, foot flexed. 90-90 angle between the hips. And then left knee is bent to 90-90 degrees as well. So we're really trying to press this left hip towards the floor. And the chest, shoulders are facing forward towards the right shin. Hands can be on the hips, behind the head, next to the shoulders. Fold over the right leg and lift up. Let's go a few more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reach forward. Don't touch your right shin. Reach your arms out to the sides and hold it here. 1, 2. Right leg active. 3. You're not falling to the side. You're straight forward. 4. Not rocking to the right like this. No. 5, 6, 7, 8. Lift up. Very good. Let's change the sides. Left ankle, left shin parallel with the short edge of the mat. All the angles are 90-90. Try to sit upright, shoulders face forward, chest forward. Fold over the left thigh and lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Reach forward, arms out to the sides. Both shoulders face forward. Hold it here. 1, 2. Straight back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Lift up. Beautiful. Shift yourself forward. Let's go through the first vinyasa. Inhale into the plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up cobra. Easy. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hold it here for a few breaths. With the next inhale, lift through the right leg up. Exhale, step it through. And step a little farther forward, coming into the lunge. Beautiful. If necessary, you can grab the blocks under your hands. We'll go just for a few bouncing movements here. So rocking the hips up and down. As you do this, hold your left leg really straight and really active so that you feel the stretch through the front of the left hip. Well, that's where we bring our attention. In just about 10 more seconds. Bring the left knee down, both hands to the left of the right foot. So move the right foot a little bit to the side of the mat. From here, roll on the outer edge of the right foot. Press the knee as far away from you as possible. And bring it back down. A few more times. Outer edge of the right foot. And place it back onto the floor. Let's give it 5 more. 1. And really push the right knee away from the right shoulder. 2. 3. 4, 5, beautiful. Give it a few circles here, like we did in the beginning in the tabletop. We're moving here between the lunge and half splits. Good. A few times the opposite way. Lowering down into the lizard lunge for a few breaths. So you can choose to hold it here with your hands on the floor. If necessary, grab hold of the blocks. Bring the forearms onto the blocks. I somehow don't have the blocks next to me today. So I'll just bring my forearms to the floor. And we hold it here for about 1 minute. Now you might notice we've done so much movement through the hips. So much rotation, glute activation, yes, that this feels quite all right. Might be it will feel easier for you than otherwise. You can hold it very still, very quiet, or you can a little rock from side to side. Whatever feels good to you, whatever you have the patience for. But try to keep breathing, not thinking of anything, just being here. Sending all the good energy, all the good vibes into your hips. Sometimes you always say, like, you know, these negative words. My hips are tight, like my hips are this and that, and it doesn't make things easier. No, you know, we should think the hips are going through a lot. We put them in a seated position, in a chair, in front of a computer for many hours a day, right? They sacrifice for us. So this is the time where we give the love and kindness back towards the hips. Beautiful. Come up onto your hands. Oh. Let's throw in a quad stretch. Wow, wonderful. Hold it here, just a few breaths. If you struggle to grab hold of the left foot, you can always use like the strap or a towel, something, and pull it towards you. Beautiful. Tabletop, and we'll just circle through the right knee a few times before we come into the pigeon pose. I feel sometimes going into a pigeon pose straight from lizard lunge is a little tough. So I'll take a few moments here, again moving it out. And now once I'm ready, thread the right shin forward. Let's do this together. I move my right foot closer to the left side of the mat. Might be your knee will be bent more. Not lowering down yet. Tuck the back toes. Flex the right foot, hands to the floor. Now notice how close to the mat you can lower. And then press the outer edge of the right foot and the toes and lift back up. Lower down and lift back up. Let's go a few more times. 1, 2, love this. 3, makes pigeon pose so much easier after this. 4, 5, last 3, 6, 7, 8, and now bring the right knee down. Might be first take an upright seated position. Make sure the hips are facing forward and down. You're not falling onto the right side, you know. Pigeon pose needs a few wiggles and modifications. Might be place a blanket or a block under your right hip if it feels rather intense. Modify, take it easier. I like staying on my forearms because I'm actually pressing my right elbow into the floor real strong, and this allows me to square my hips, to push my left hip towards the mat. That's why when you don't have like a teacher next to you or a help, boyfriend, husband, father, mother, anyone, right, to push onto your hips down, you are looking for the ways how you can use your body to achieve the best results. And I actually love it this way, you know, because it allows me to explore, it allows me to learn, to listen to my body, to notice the difference. And it feels like a plenty of stretch for me right now, especially given that it's early in the morning, like I said. Oh, very good. Just one more breath. Oh, amazing. Lift up. Let's come up into one-legged downward facing dog. Right leg up. And now circle it out. Bring it down, walk the feet in place a few times. Inhale, shift forwards. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, lift up, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Beautiful. Coming into the lunge, if necessary, hands on blocks or onto the fingertips, and just bouncing the hips up and down. We'll do it for about 20 more seconds. Hold your right leg active and straight. Beautiful. Bring the right knee down, untuck the toes. Move both of your hands to the right of the left foot and left foot closer to the edge of the mat. Roll out on the outer edge of the left foot. Place the foot down. A few more times. This movement, again, it might feel different on both sides. For me, it feels definitely harder on this side. It just needs, might be, we need to do one extra time on this side, you know? Give it a little extra time, extra care. Well, that's what we are doing. We are taking care of our body. We are taking care of the hips, because the hips is just such a major part. Okay, we've done enough. Let's circle the hips a few times. the opposite way. Coming into the lizard lunge. Either stay on the hands, if necessary grab hold of the blocks, forearms to the blocks or to the floor. Might be you just need the block under one elbow, that is normally your left elbow. Right elbow will reach to the floor easier. Good, so I was saying that hips are such a major part in our body. Like this is the center of the body. And because of our lifestyle, especially the Western lifestyle, seated in a chair, not on the floor, not in a squatted position, it really makes our hips tight. And sometimes we don't even understand how much tightness there is in the hips before we start moving. Once you start moving, like you start practicing and going through this class, and you're like, oh my God, everything is so tight. And you're like, why did I even do this? Now I know how tight I feel, how tight I am. But actually you're doing the right thing. You know, tight hips can cause the knee pain, can cause the back pain. And with the age, it all gets better. Nothing gets easier with the age, right? So if you are younger right now, don't give up, don't stop doing this. You're taking care of yourself, the older version of yourself. Lift up, step back. I prefer to take a few moments in a tabletop, moving it out, circling. Might be circling through the left knee a few times. Pigeon pose is not easy. So I like taking my time to prepare and then threading the left shin forward, left foot closer to the right side of the mat. Good. Hands to the floor, tag the right toes. Left foot is actively flexed, so you're pressing the floor away. Lower down, slow and easy, and lift up. A few more times. 1, 2, really right hip forward and down. 3, 4, I press through the left hand a little more than my right. 5, 6, 7, 8, perfect. Might become upright a little bit. A few deep breaths. You can choose to stay upright. You can lower onto the forearms or all the way down. And you might notice that there is a lot of fight, a lot of resistance. It's in your hips, in your shoulders, on your face. Let's try to let it all go. Whatever you notice, wiggle, shake it off, release. They say that we keep a lot of unprocessed emotions in the hips. That's why they get tight. So our emotional state is really affecting the physical body, because if we don't know how to release those emotions, so some people don't allow themselves to cry, to get angry. Some people don't know how to forgive, how to forget. It's difficult, all of that. So then all these life experiences, we store them in our muscles, in our fascia, in our body, right? That's why some people, when they hold a pigeon pose, they feel like, oh, I feel like crying. It's not like because the stretch is so intense, but because this movement affects the emotional side of things. And we feel like finally softening, melting, allowing ourselves to live through all those memories, emotions, whatever it is. Beautiful. So don't be afraid to feel vulnerable here. If you are in a group class, might be it's harder. But if you're home by yourself, just get all the feels going so that by the end of the practice we feel light. Good. Oh, come up. Wiggle, wiggle. One-legged downward facing dog. Circle through the left knee a few times. Beautiful. I'll move my mat towards the wall. We're moving towards the wall. I'm sure you have a wall. If you don't have a wall, not a problem. You can just stay on the mat. I like doing this sometimes by the wall. It allows me to keep my back straighter. So coming into Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. Perfect. This wall gives so much support. So I definitely prefer it like this. Sometimes I start with bouncing my knees up and down. But today I feel we've done so much movement and so much bouncing that this, honestly, it feels easy and relaxing. Let me adjust my looks. Yeah, it actually feels quite good. Normally I feel the difference between my right and left hip, but I think we've done well coming to the end of this rather long session. So I'm pressing my hands onto the knees, helping myself to open them wider just a little bit. Close your eyes, take just a few more breaths. We'll make it a little harder, as if it wasn't hard before, but we'll fold forward. Oh. Walk your hands farther forward. We hold it here for 1 minute. I'll be quiet, because this pose takes a lot of breathing, a lot of focus on the hips. Try to relax. Hips remain on the floor, even as you reach forward. 3 more breaths. Softly come up. Good. Bring the knees together. Oh, wiggle the feet forward and give yourself a hug. Nice hug. Let me move my mat a little further forwards. Roll onto your back. We'll just take a few moments here, Hug the knees into the chest. Perfect. Extend the left leg down, right knee in. Let's change the sides. Right leg down, left knee in. Knees into the chest. Now let's come back up. I forgot. Just one last move. We'll come back into the tabletop. And we'll try to lift the left knee up to the side and hold it here a little. And lift back out. We want our muscles to remember all this range of the movement, range of motion and flexibility that we created. So 3 more times. Actively opening the knees. Notice might be it's easier now rather than in the beginning. I want you to hold a little at the top and down. Let's change the sides. Hold a little at the top. Down. 4 more. And bring it down. Sit the hips towards the heels. 1 relaxing child's pose. I recommend to bring knees together. Beautiful. You can stay in a child's pose for as long as it feels necessary. Good. Take a long shavasana or continue with your practice if you have time and energy. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today. If you like this video, please press the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. It will really support me a lot in what I'm doing. And I hope to see you on the mat for another practice soon again.